Welcome back to the channel, my fellow soap addicts. Wait, are Brady and Kristen seriously about to have the darkest family meeting in the history of Salem? My jaw is on the floor right now. We are talking about a devastating bombshell dropping on young Rachel Black, and her reaction is absolutely going to shatter you. Is Rachel destined to become the next villain of Salem? Welcome back to Peacock TV, spoilers, your home for all things Salem. We are tracking a massive June storyline that is going to push the Black DiMera family to the absolute brink. If you love deep dives into the twisted psychology of our favorite characters, wild predictions, and unfiltered rants, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss an update. We have so much to unpack today, from tragic fates to incredible hypocrisy. Let's get right into the raw facts. The June spoilers for Days of Our Lives just dropped, and they are incredibly heavy. Brady Black and Kristen DiMera are going to be forced to sit down and face an agonizing task. They have to tell their young daughter, Rachel Black, about the grim, devastating fate of Sophia Choi. As we all know, Sophia is presumed dead, washing up in the Salem River after a horrific downward spiral. But here is the massive twist. When Rachel finds out what happened to Sophia, she completely breaks down. She doesn't just cry for her friend, she panics for herself. Rachel becomes terrified that the doctors won't be able to cure her own psychological issues. She looks at Sophia's tragic end and fears she is destined to become just like her. Of course, Brady and Kristen rush to promise Rachel that she will never end up like Sophia. Now, let's just pause for a second. Let's be real for a second. I am screaming at my screen right now because the sheer hypocrisy of this situation is off the charts. Here at Peacock TV Spoilers, we've been tracking this storyline, and we think the writers are pulling off a masterstroke of dramatic irony. Think about who is comforting Rachel. Kristen DiMera. Are you kidding me? Kristen is sitting there, looking into her daughter's tear-filled eyes, promising her that she won't go down a dark, twisted path. Meanwhile, what is Kristen doing behind closed doors? She is literally seducing Xander Kyriakis in a sleazy room at the Salem Inn, trying to hire him as a hitman to finish the assassination job that Sophia failed to execute on Johnny DiMera. The absolute audacity of Kristen. Stacy Haiduk is completely killing it in this role, serving up this terrifying blend of maternal warmth and psychotic ruthlessness. But as a viewer, I am pulling my hair out. How can Kristen sit there and promise Rachel a healthy, normal future when Kristen is actively orchestrating murders in town? And then we have Brady. Oh, Brady. Eric Martsolf plays the tortured, well-meaning dad so beautifully, but Brady is completely blind. Brady is desperately trying to save his daughter's soul. He sees the DiMera darkness creeping into Rachel. He sees the tantrums, the manipulation, the psychological struggles. He wants to believe that his love and the good Brady and Black family genes can save her. But Brady is co-parenting with a literal sociopath. I honestly believe Brady is fighting a losing battle here. He is trying to build a sandcastle while Kristen is summoning a tidal wave. Brady has let Kristen get away with so much over the years, and now his daughter is paying the psychological price. He sits on that bed, promising Rachel everything will be okay, but he has zero control over the toxic environment Kristen creates. Let's talk about Rachel for a minute, because Lorelei Olivia Mote is doing a phenomenal job with this heavy material. Rachel is terrified that her psychological issues are incurable, This is so deep for a soap opera kid. Usually, soap kids are just props who go upstairs to do homework and age rapidly 5 years later. But the writers are actually exploring the psychological toll of having Stefano DiMera as a grandfather and Kristen DiMera as a mother. Rachel knows she has a dark side. We saw it when she viciously bullied Chloe Lane. We saw it in her manipulation tactics during the custody battles. But now she sees Sophia Choi, a girl who went completely off the rails, cyberbullied people, tried to commit murder, and ended up dead in a river. Sophia's grim fate is acting as a massive, terrifying mirror for Rachel. I think this is one of the most compelling storylines they have done for a younger character in years. Rachel is looking at the abyss, and she is scared. She is begging her parents to fix her. But can they? Can therapy actually cure the DiMera darkness? If you ask me, the writers are setting up a massive, long-term tragedy here. Rachel is a legacy character. She has the blood of John Black, Isabella Toscano, and the DiMeras running through her veins. That is a recipe for absolute chaos. She isn't just mourning a friend. She is looking at her own expiration date. She is terrified that the doctors, the therapists, the medicine, none of it will work because her brain is fundamentally broken like Sophia's. That is incredibly dark for daytime television, and I am absolutely glued to the screen. Look at what is happening to the Choi family right now. Amy and Jason Choi are completely devastated, waiting to see if their daughter's body washes up downstream. Amy is completely out of control, raging at Holly Jonas and blaming everyone else for Sophia's tragic end. Rachel is watching all of this collateral damage. She sees the absolute destruction that one unhinged teenage girl can cause to an entire town. Rachel sees Amy's grief and realizes that if she goes down the same path, Brady will be the one weeping over her grave. It is a terrifying wake-up call for a kid who used to think her bad behavior had no real consequences. I cannot stop thinking about the scene where they break the news. Imagine the tension in the DiMera mansion. Brady is probably pacing the floor, looking sick to his stomach. Kristen is probably trying to spin it, trying to make it sound less horrific than it is. And then they drop the bomb. The realization hitting Rachel's face. The panic setting in. Am I next? Am I going to go crazy and die like Sophia? It is gut-wrenching. But let's look at the bigger picture. What happens when Rachel inevitably finds out that her mother is exactly what she fears becoming? Because secrets in Salem never stay buried. Eventually, Rachel is going to realize that Kristen isn't just a tough businesswoman. She is a criminal. She is a kidnapper. She is a murderer. When Rachel realizes that the woman promising to keep her safe from the darkness is actually the Queen of Darkness, Rachel's entire psyche is going to shatter. I honestly believe that will be the exact moment Rachel snaps and fully embraces the DiMera villain era. She will realize that there is no escaping her genetics. If her own mother is a monster, why should she try to be an angel? We are watching the origin story of Salem's next great supervillain, and it is a tragedy wrapped in a family drama. You guys know I have zero sympathy for Kristen, but I genuinely feel sick for Rachel. She is a child trapped in a toxic legacy, desperately crying out for a cure that probably doesn't exist. And what about the doctors? Rachel is scared the doctors can't cure her. Is Marlena going to get involved? Marlena Evans is Rachel's grandmother figure, and Salem's residents shrink. But Marlena is currently dealing with Cat Green and EJ's hypnosis mess. If Marlena steps in to treat Rachel, imagine the explosive showdowns between Marlena and Kristen. Kristen hates Marlena. Kristen would rather jump out a window than let Marlena psychoanalyze her daughter. Kristen knows that if Marlena gets into Rachel's head, Marlena will expose all of Kristen's toxic parenting. The potential for absolute, unadulterated soap opera drama here is off the charts. Sweeps Month is delivering in spades, people. Let's really dig into the dynamic between Brady and Kristen in this moment. They are forced to be a united front. For one brief, shining moment, they have to put aside their toxic, hateful, magnetic history and just be parents. Brady has to look at Kristen and trust her to comfort their child. Kristen has to look at Brady and pretend she is a normal, loving mother. The chemistry between Eric Martsolf and Stacy Haiduk in these quiet, emotional scenes is always electric. They play the underlying tension so well. You can see the history in their eyes. The kidnappings, the betrayals, the twisted love. All of it is bubbling just under the surface as they sit on the edge of Rachel's bed and lie to her face. Because let's be honest, they are lying. They can't promise Rachel won't go dark. They have no control over it. This whole situation just proves that Days of Our Lives is at its absolute best when it focuses on family legacy and psychological trauma. The show isn't just about who is sleeping with who. It's about the generational curses that these characters can't escape. Rachel Black is the embodiment of a generational curse, and we are watching it unfold in real time. I am so stressed out over this, you guys. I need to know what you think. Do you honestly believe Rachel can be saved, or is she destined to become the next Kristen DiMera? Let me know your wildest theories down in the comments below. Thank you so much for tuning in to Peacock TV Spoilers. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so we can keep gossiping about all the Salem drama together. See you in the next video.